recently.
Welcome to day 3 of Bahamas with Bob. We're at the Island House International Triathlon. We're sponsored by Island House, Cervelo, Gatorade Endurance, official charity More Than Sport, and we're airing on Babbittville.com and on Babbittville Radio. With me, Magali Tisseyre and Mr. Eric Lagerstrom. How you guys doing?
We're a bit more tired than we were this morning, but we're doing good. We're hanging in there for day 2.
All right. And Eric, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I don't even feel like I did anything, so
Yeah.
it's part of my strategy.
Right. Wear them out. So the key here is we just had day 1 and time trial. So you start out with a swim time trial, then a bike time trial, then a run. Have you ever done that type of format before?
I mean, I've done cycling stage racing, so
yeah, so you do a time trial.
Similar kind of a thing, but yeah, it's all on the bike, obviously, and there's times where you're coasting in a pack and stuff.
Right.
So this is a bit unique to do all by yourself, all by yourself, all by yourself.
And Mags, the same thing?
Yes, I've done some bike races too, but I think the swim for me was the time trial on the swim was the hardest part because usually the pack helps me a lot. I got good at
Somebody
drafting.
to feet to sit on.
Yeah, and then here I had Carolina Rucci just go by and I was like, just don't worry about her. She's really fast. Just stay in your zone. But yeah, I got 5-second drafts once in a while, and it was, yeah.
So Eric, your plan was to try to make the 2016 Olympic team in triathlon.
Yep.
And you took a great detour because you go out and go, oh, I think I'll go win Alcatraz, and that sort of changes things. That leads to Beijing International. You win that. I'm sure your goal was to get to the Olympics, but the way things have turned out, you've sort of gone in a different direction, but it's been a positive direction.
Yeah, and I think making the Olympic team was still a goal that I had through that entire process and everything. It just last year I kind of took a bit of time to say, I'm still going to pursue that, but it's not going to be the only thing that I think about every day and when I wake up and everything. I'm going to just try to enjoy doing the sport of triathlon and race some of those iconic races, and I think it worked out really well.
Well, you know what's hard is with the whole ITU style of racing, just getting a start at these races is very, very difficult. And when you're trying to build a season, like if you're an Ironman or 70.3 guy, you go, okay, I'm going to do this race, I'm going to do Oceanside. You don't know, right? You're going into a season not knowing where you're going to get a start, and that makes it very difficult to plan a season.
Yeah, that was a big part of the reason, or my mental shift over to doing some more races like that, not just focusing on ITU, because I spent 3 years having no idea if I was going to race in 2 weeks or not, and then just you get a call and you got to go to China immediately, and that was very wearing and everything. Yeah. So, and it was kind of ironic actually when I started thinking that way. Like the ITU races actually went better because I stressed less. But yeah, you're right. That ITU system is very stressful, very competitive and intense.
So Max, you the 70.3 style of racing. I think you were on the podium 2 years in a row, third place at 70.3 Worlds. You have won a lot of 70.3 races. Is that your format? Is that something you feel you're best at?
Definitely. Bob, I've told you that I don't still want to do the Ironman because I just feel like I'm in the right kind of, it's the right distance for me, and it still is. But I've been really tempted by the shorter stuff. I've never gotten to race ITU or any shorter distance races.
That's right. You pretty much started with the longer stuff.
Yeah. So, and I find it really exciting. I like the strategy, and I think 4 hours for me starts being a bit on the long side.
Yes.
I really like having things going on and staying engaged, and so a race like this is really amazing for me.
Had you ever thought of, why not go back to ITU?
It's really the swimming, you know?
Because you got to be there.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's definitely because of the swimming. The swimming has gotten better, but it's now better for 70.3 because 70.3 is getting so much stronger too.
Yes.
So, yeah, I got it right where I should be in 70.3, but I'm not fast enough in the swim yet for stuff like ITU races.
Yeah.
So
So when you look back at your career, what do you look back at the most important race for you? Not necessarily the best win, but the one that meant the most to you, that sort of told you, you know what, I'm doing the right thing here.
It was my first triathlon. It was the race that I went into, and for some reason I said, I'm going to go in and win, and that'll mean that I'm meant to be a triathlete, or that will be my sport that I choose, and so I just went into my first race and won that, and then...
You won your first race?
Yeah.
Like no big deal. Yeah, what the heck.
The field wasn't as deep as the fields are here, but it was just an experience that was a lot of confidence, and I just loved it and decided, you know what, I'm going to finish my studies and then go in 100% and see what happens, so...
And when as a couple, like you go through highs and lows. You're doing well, Eric might not be, and Eric's doing well, and Mags isn't. How do you guys handle that?
That's a good question. I think it's hard sometimes. It really, you have to just learn to, it's not only about you, it's about a team effort.
Right.
And you start seeing it like that. Like, for example, like this weekend, whoever makes it to the island, well, the other one gets to,
other one gets the Sherpa.
Yeah, and we're kind of getting, there are some
We're
races.
both going to make it to the island.
Oh, yes, you are, yes. You're 15th right now, Eric's 8th, but you both are going to get to the island.
Yes, you're right. But it's a question of like starting to see it more as a team than, and I think it's good. If you have a downtime, someone else has a good day, then you can see it like that. You could see it as a team that's going well, and you always have someone to pick you up too when it's not going well, so it's good.
For you, Eric, when you win an iconic race like Alcatraz, and I think it was a sprint finish with Andy Potts, here's a guy who's won that race, 5-6 times. I mean, that is when you're sort of questioning, gosh, I'm going after this Olympic thing. I'm not. That's years away. It's still at that point. It's 2016. You're racing in 2015. You don't know what's going to happen, and you go to an iconic race like that and win it. How did that change things for you?
I think it changed things in that a few more people knew my name.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still an Olympic distance race. Olympic non-draft is not really a thing that you can pursue as a career in itself. Yeah. So
used to be able to.
It was still it didn't change that much in terms of what I was focusing on. I was still just trying to be the best professional triathlete that I could be, and I think I kind of found a format or maybe even a specific race that suits me and that I loved. But yeah, I don't know. It just, I had a few more friends on Facebook, I guess.
Well, and the other side of that is it sort of puts when you knock off people, when you knock off an Andy Potts, that's a Olympian, that's a guy who's done really well at all distances.
He's a legend in
exactly.
every sense of the word.
Yeah, so that changes things, right? Had you raced Andy before?
I don't think I had.
Yeah.
No, because just as I was coming into ITU, he left and started doing long course and everything, and that was my first time racing Alcatraz. So, I went into it just hoping that I could keep still see him at the end of the day and everything, and it ended up working out really well. But I grew up, in the sport. I started when I was 12, and I saw guys like Andy Potts and Hunter Kemper on the cover of magazines and everything, and so that was a draw. That entire race was a little bit surreal, kind of like.
You're sort of looking around. Hey, I remember your poster. I got that. Yeah,
watching you on TV or something. So it was cool.
Well, and this race is sort of the same thing. Here you are racing, and there's Sebastian Kienle, and there's Gwen Jorgensen, and there's all these athletes, and from different distances. You got Ironman champions, you got 70.3 champions, you got Olympic champions. For you, Eric, is this? Is it sort of fun, just going head-to-head with some of the best in the world at all different distances?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a nice race in that there aren't a ton of expectations with it because nobody really knows what's going to happen.
That's true.
We've never done this time trial format on the first day. We've never really done a non-draft enduro on the second day, and some of it it's not a race that's like specifically suited for anyone. And I've never raced Sebastian Kienle. I've never raced Tim Reed.
Lionel Sanders, and
it's pretty awesome because I think just at the end of every day we're looking at splits and we're kind of have these questions in our mind like I wonder how this person's going to do this after this, considering this factor and everything. It's really cool, and I think that's perfect for the sport because you have a lot to talk about and a lot to think about with the possibilities.
And then tomorrow's a totally different day. You got the enduro, right? Yep. You go swim, run, bike, swim, run.
Yeah, that's a little bit unique. I've done double super sprints before, swim, bike, run. But swimming after biking is, I have no idea how that's going to work. I kind of feel like we're all going to dive into the water, still kind of stuck in arrow position and have to somehow stretch out.
My bike shoes are still on. What's going on?
Knees dragging on the bottom of the sand or something. So I don't know. It's gonna be cool, and it could be a completely different lineup, as far as the top 10 goes at the end of tomorrow than it is today. It's like two completely different races.
So, Mags, for tomorrow, I mean, the time trial is such a unique setup, and tomorrow is more racing, right? It's more you're all going off together. It's not, but it's still a non-draft, which is better for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be. I'm upset about the swim this morning. So
really?
I want to go out with the group and try and hold on. That's the thing. Mostly in the swim is where I'm going to be excited about racing and hanging on and getting in that mode.
Right.
And it's going to be fun. But today it was amazing to do like a 5K and have Gwen. You know, I watched those races and I see Gwen run by, and suddenly she's there, and like I'm in. You know, just
That's pretty fun, huh?
It was amazing, yeah.
I'm sure she watches all of your races too.
Yes, watches me on television. Yeah,
imagines what it would be like to be.
Imagine what it'd be like to be wearing a light stick and be out here all night long. How fun is that?
Exactly.
My lights.
Now, Eric, do you see this 70.3 Olympic non-draft? Do you see yourself stepping up and going longer, or is this 70.3 about as long as you want to go?
I think we always have to keep Ironman in mind and everything, but I mean, I just turned 27, 26. I don't even know, but somewhere in that range. And so I have a full, 6, 7 more years, I think, until I really need to consider that. So
exactly.
I'm probably going to pursue another Olympic Games, mix in a couple 70.3s there, see how it goes. But I'm not quite ready to let go of the shorter, faster stuff. But
I don't think you need to let go of that, because you think about how fast people are doing 70.3s now.
Yes.
You can't.
Right.
You need that speed.
Yeah.
Right? The guys are running a 111, 112 off the bike. That's hauling.
Exactly. You're exactly right. So watching those races and stuff, it doesn't seem like it's going to be significantly different in terms of kind of there's tactics going on, and there's a bike pack, and then it's a run race at the end and everything. So yeah, I think it'll be exciting, and it looks like it's not going to feel hugely different than Escape from Alcatraz in terms of that kind of just tough effort.
What is also interesting is the fact that now with Ironman, I think has about 170.3 races around the world, and there's 45 fulls. But between what they're doing, what Challenge is doing, you don't really have to step up and do a full Ironman, right? People can make a living doing 70.3 and Alcatraz and some of the other legendary events without having to think about going out there and racing for 8 or 9 hours.
I certainly like to think so.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can race a 70.3 every, maybe two weeks apart, and then take a month later and everything, like you're constantly racing, you're making money, you're staying, relevant and everything, and it seems like it'd be really hard to do just put all the eggs in one basket or whatever for Kona, and then man, you get a flat, anything go like that. Race is so unpredictable that I like racing more often.
I was going to say you guys are both like to race.
Yeah. I would say the only thing with 70.3 is I wish that the World Championship was a little bit more, there's so many good athletes and everything, and it's all about, you hear a lot about Kona. And so when you only do 70.3, your big event is a little bit more an underdog event.
It's overshadowed.
So if that could somehow,
I like watching
develop.
70.3 like way better than I like watch. I mean, you can't watch Kona quite really. You kind of
go get a workout in. While
you
watch,
and then you sit on the trainer for a while, and then you kind of go to a sandwich and take a nap, and you come back and like maybe
they're still out there.
Maybe some of the bike positions have changed or something, but 70.3, like you can actually watch one and kind of follow along and everything.
There's good potential
and
there.
There's a lot of potential.
I mean, they're a lot more exciting in my opinion.
Well, and you can still do those as multiple loop courses. I think you start seeing more of those in city centers where you can really watch them and get big spectators out there.
Yeah.
What will your season look like for both you guys next year?
We're just trying to get through the off season here.
So is this the last race of the year? Take a little time off after this?
Almost. I think we're going to kind of mentally take some time off, but 2 weeks after this, we're going to race in the Dominican Republic.
A draft legal.
Draft legal.
Draft legal.
Yeah.
Is that Mags? Have you done?
I'm just sharpening up,
Have you done some of this draft legal stuff?
No. Well, I did. Oh, you don't want to hear the story?
Yes.
But I did it a really long time ago in Long Beach. Forgot my wetsuit.
Oh, that's
I was just starting off, and I chased the whole race, and I passed one person at the end, and I felt like a champion. So, and then I decided to do long course.
Okay, I'm out of here.
It wasn't the same experience.
Yeah.
But then after that, I it never could accept the swimming part, and I just kept on working on it, and
now,
it'll be fun.
Does it help being a Powegian, being up there training in Poway?
Oh yeah, I'm really inspired by these younger athletes that are doing ITU and just watching them race, and it's some part of me that I would have loved to do that, and I kind of vicariously. I see him race, and I love it.
Well, and look at the success that program has had. 2 Olympians, Eric winning Beijing and Alcatraz. The program obviously has had turned a lot of people around.
All of Paulo's athletes have had such a great season. And, it's been pretty amazing to watch and to follow.
So for tomorrow, you're sitting in 15th. Tomorrow you got to have a good race. You got to get the key is you get
but
to
it's
10th.
1 minute.
Huh?
1 minute.
It's only 1 minute, right?
Anything
1 minute
is
out of
possible.
10th. Absolutely.
Yeah.
1 minute in transition. Now you got transitions.
Transitions.
See, you're good at transition. I've seen you transition. You're good at that. But you move up. If you get to Sunday, you're guaranteed $10,000.
That's right.
That's pretty fun.
I just want to make it to the island.
That's all you want to do is get to the island.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I think Eric wants more than get to the island. I think Eric could podium here. What do you think?
That'd be great, but I am in get to the island mode as well. I think we're just trying to focus on getting there, and then I think once we're there, the atmosphere and the excitement and is gonna, you start to get that finish line pull, and you'll find something else in the tank and everything. But I don't know, just can't hold back really these first couple of days, thinking about the third day, and then you don't make it.
Exactly.
All right. Hey, well, best of luck getting to the island. That is the key.
Thanks, Bob.
Love it.
Thanks, Bob.
Eric and Mags have been our guests. This is Bahamas with Bob. We're at the Island House Invitational Triathlon. This is day 3. Hold on, everyone. We will be right back.